Hi guys. So this video is in response to a question Galen posted this morning. As you can see, I'm driving, so I'm just gonna talk. I wanted to make a video about this because this is a fairly complicated explanation. It's not, it's just it takes a lot of words. If you're not interested in this topic, don't pay attention. Because the topic is this: how do I deal with the fact that my mind is just constantly in aggravated thoughts and frustrated thoughts and, you know, spinning in anxious thoughts, etc., etc. And what do I do with this suggestion to meditate when all I do when I try and do that is I encounter this intense craziness of mind? So if this is not a question that interests you, turn it off now, because you don't need to introduce more contrast to your life. You absolutely don't. But if this really, seriously, but I'm learning that lesson slowly. My mind's like, but that's fascinating. I'm like, yeah, but it's gonna introduce thoughts you don't want to think. But if this is interesting to you, I want to address it. Now, context here. I have been a meditation teacher since 2001, so that's 17 years. I have not only been a meditation teacher, but I have specifically taught a course called Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy, which is designed to help people who have a strong history of depression, a history of major depression or anxiety and things like that, to learn skills in 8 weeks that will prevent them from having a depression relapse. Now, the course is not designed specifically for people in depression or who are currently having intense anxiety, but because it's hard to do things under those circumstances. But I will say, over the however many years I've taught the course, something like 10 now, I have had people take the course when they were extremely depressed or full of anxiety or their lives were a wreck. And in some cases, in a couple of really startling cases, they got fantastic results right away. Like, came in like, whoa, I'm not depressed. And I stay in touch with these people, and so I know, I mean, I'm still in touch with that particular woman I'm thinking of. That was probably, I don't know, 8 years ago, and we're still in touch. So I know about the long-term benefits of this. In other cases, I get a call years later. I got an email from a young woman, I think last fall or something, and she said, I've been meaning to get in touch with you to say, you know, thank you for the course, which she took like, God, she took it when I was in the East Village. So this must have been a minimum of 8 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Anyway, so she said, you know, I wanted to tell you, I didn't do any of the exercises in the course at the time, and I couldn't, because what I didn't tell you then is that I was drinking really heavily. And about 1.5 years ago, I was able to stop drinking. And during the last 1.5 years, I've been implementing the stuff from the course. We do a binder for the course, so you can address it later. Whoops. And and I really am deriving the benefit from it now. And this is one of the things she said that was very impactful to me, that the course itself, even though she didn't do it, it gave her a perspective that she held as being part of what helped her finally free herself from very active alcoholism. So I'm telling you all this because I've seen the data on this personally, and there are thousands more teachers who teach this around the world, and their data is in too. So, you know, I'm not the only one doing this. Okay, so that being said, I want to address this specific question of how the hell do I meditate when I'm super anxious? How the hell do I meditate when I'm really a mess? So, all right, I'm gonna explain this thing, and you can, if you zone out, don't worry, I'm gonna get to the practical how-to a little bit next. But first I wanna say, feelings and thoughts interact in our nervous system in a way where they create a loop. So the feelings are happening like, That's what feelings are like, right? They're inarticulate. They're like, right? So that's the feelings. And then the feelings generate corresponding thoughts. So these are the thoughts over top, like, oh my gosh, blah, 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 this is the... And then the thoughts feed back in and they generate feelings. And so there's this cycle that happens with thoughts and feelings. And if you need the chicken and egg question, yes, the thought is the first thing that happens. But sometimes the thought is so quick and so subtle that you don't notice it. So sometimes the first thing you notice is the feeling. In any case, it doesn't matter. That's just a question people ask a lot. So, whoops. Thoughts and feelings interact in such a way that it complicates this whole thing. Because if you're feeling very anxious, your mind is going to generate anxious thoughts. That's just how it works. Period. If you're feeling very hopeless, your mind is going to generate hopeless thoughts. If you're feeling hopeless, your mind is going to be thinking things like, oh God, this will never work. I've tried so many things before. So your mind is going to generate hopeless thoughts. If you're angry, your mind is going to generate angry thoughts. This is just how it works. There's nothing wrong with this system. We need to understand it, that's all. So I offer that caveat because if you're trying to come into meditation and quiet your mind and you're feeling strong feelings of any kind, they're going to affect you. Yes, they're going to affect you, but more specifically, they are going to generate corresponding thoughts. And then what happens, we believe our thoughts. We just believe them. Now, we have a bunch of automatic, total bullshit thoughts that happen all day long, but somehow we believe it. And this is a weird thing about the human brain and our wiring. We believe our thoughts. And so, in fact, part of what the mindfulness-based cognitive therapy course does is it teaches you how to identify thoughts and specifically stop automatically believing them. You know that some thoughts are true and some aren't. So to automatically believe them means you're very vulnerable to this mechanism in which depressed feelings generate depressed thoughts. Angry feelings generate angry thoughts. By the way, just this morning on my Vortex call with Ramona, I had this experience. It was really cool where, what was the word I was using? Delighted. Where delighted feelings generated delighted thoughts. And so this works at the upper end of the vibrational scale too, okay? Specifically, I was feeling very delighted. I was doing my Vortex call with Ramona. I was really feeling yummy, yummy, yummy. And then I looked over at this piece of chicken wire that I've been trying to get out of the ground. It's kind of heavy in the ground. There's rocks and stones under it. And it's right where I sit and meditate, so it's a little bit ugly, you know? And every time I look at it, I think, oh, I should get George to come and help me, or I should get a shovel, or I should get... And then I never think about it again until the next time I'm sitting down to meditate. And so it's been months just sitting there. And I looked at this chicken wire that's been so irritating to me, and in that moment, a total delighted feeling. I looked at the chicken wire, and I didn't ever stop and track down what the thought was, but I had some kind of delightful thought about it, like, oh, I'm so lucky that, I don't know what it was, you know, some blah, blah, blah thought. So the delightful feeling generated a delightful thought even about this damn chicken wire, okay? So this works at the other end of the vibrational scale, but that's not what we're focused on right now because I'm specifically addressing this for those of you who are struggling with depression, anxiety, fear, stuff like that, okay? So now, how does this help us when we want to find ways to meditate, quiet the mind, soothe ourselves, and ultimately, yes, create the lives we want. Ultimately, yes, attract delicious experiences. All right. That's why this video is long, because this is one of the harder things to do. On the vibrational scale, right, from here to here, this is depression, this is joy. If we're in joy, fear, anxiety, whatever, depression, fear, anxiety, hopelessness down in this lower fifth of the scale. I like to divide it to fifths. I'll talk more about that another time. And we want to get up into the top two levels of the scale. That's too far of a jump. It's just too far. We can't jump there. We have to get there either by going through the middle levels or by soothing. There's two ways. Now, soothing is the same as quieting your mind. Abraham talks about this all the time, by the way. It's totally in line with Abraham. This is just my understanding of it, specifically in terms of how it works for people with depression and anxiety. All right? So, Soothing. Remember this? Soothing is, sorry, it was more like this. This is the feelings, these are the thoughts. Soothing is addressing this part. It's addressing the feelings. You can address the feelings by soothing the nervous system. Feelings happen in the body. Then the thoughts will change. Now, one of the ways you address the feelings is by deliberately changing how you are relating to the thoughts. So there's two parts of this that you must address, both parts, because if you don't, the thoughts will feed back in and cause more feelings, or the feelings will feed back in and cause more thoughts. And they are addressed two different ways. Feelings are in the body, thoughts are in the mind. I have a whole ebook on this, by the way, and if you haven't seen it yet, I'll find a time to post it in the comments below, or it's in the files section of the Blissful group. If you're agitated, there is stuff going on in your nervous system that corresponds to the agitation. Literally, there are hormones in your bloodstream, cortisol, what's that stuff? Adrenaline. There are hormones in your bloodstream that are causing your heart to speed up, that are causing your digestion to be poor, that are causing, this is the fact of being anxious. It's just how it works. We feel anxious when we have these hormones in our blood, and when we feel anxious, we generate these hormones. So in order to go from feeling anxious to not anxious, you actually have to change the quality of your blood. That doesn't take very long, thank God. The kidneys are constantly doing it, the liver is constantly doing it. Yay for the body's systems. But you do have to stop thinking the agitating thoughts. So in order to soothe the body, you have to stop thinking the agitating thoughts, because the agitating thoughts trigger the feeling. You see the mechanism of this? You see why this is important? So the process of thinking a better feeling thought, right? A thought that feels better than the previous one. That's what a better feeling thought is. Ah, why don't I fucking kill myself? Okay, maybe I won't kill myself today. That's a better feeling thought, okay? We're not saying like, oh, why don't I kill myself? No, my life is great. No. A better feeling thought, okay? A thought that feels better than the previous one, okay? So that's why the better feeling thought is useful, because in this mechanism, the life sucks and I'm miserable and I hate everybody and whatever this is, generates these thoughts. These thoughts feed back in and they generate more of this feeling. So first you have to address the thoughts, because if you don't, no matter what you're doing with this, it'll feed back in and keep you agitated. Then, and when I say then, I mean in the next breath or in the next moment, you have to address the feelings, okay? So this is really, really, really important. So if you try and sit down to meditate when you're feeling crappy, there is very little chance you're gonna have success. I'm just gonna tell you, you're not likely to have success. Now, if you're a really skillful meditator and you like meditation, it could work, but it takes a while. When I was using meditation to address my depression, I went to a weekly 2-hour sit for every week, almost without failing, really, really dedicatedly, for something like 7 years, okay? So we're talking about a lot of, I don't want you to do 7 years once a week. It worked though. And when I was doing that, there were days I was so agitated that it wasn't until the end of the second hour that I felt better. So sometimes my feeling better arrived in the first 20-minute sit. Sometimes it arrived in the walking meditation, which was the second thing. Sometimes it arrived in the second 20-minute set. Sometimes it arrived during the reading. Sometimes it arrived during the sharing. And sometimes it literally didn't arrive until they were doing announcements at the end. But it always happened. It was a really wonderful thing for me, week after week, to get that soothing. So it can work. I'm not saying it can't work, but it's not an easy thing to make happen. And this was in a group. When on your own, it's even harder. So what you have to do if you're really, really feeling agitated is you must work to soothe your nervous system before you can quiet your mind. The activated nervous system will not allow your mind to stay quiet. And by the way, when I say quiet, I don't mean silent. The mind is not silent. It is the mind's job to think, okay? We'll get more into that. Okay, this is getting to be a really endless video, but if this is your focus, perhaps this will be helpful to you, and we'll come back to it in smaller ways. Okay, so you must soothe the nervous system, the body, the feelings, all sort of different ways of saying the same thing, while quieting the mind. They must happen together, one at a time, one after another, step by step, and simultaneously. So in order to do that when you're feeling agitated, maybe the first step is to take your body somewhere, right? Maybe the first step is to take your body out into nature and slow it down. And I have a walking meditation video, which is really cute because my cat was tripping me up, but it talks pretty well about what it's like to try and do walking meditation when you're agitated. So maybe that's the first step. Or maybe the first step is soothing by listening to some music on headphones, you know? Or maybe the first step is soothing by some other means that works for you. If you want to meditate, soothing with alcohol or pot or something is not going to work for you because it won't let you meditate. Although, you know, that is a way that we soothe, and for some people that is a step that works. It's not one that works very well for many people though, so obviously we want to be aware of that. So soothing is a thing that you must develop a little skill about in order to do this, and everybody's different, but basically the story is the same. Your nervous system needs to quiet down in order to soothe. And okay, then you must address the thinking also, and you must address the thinking with a better feeling thought. Now there's a gazillion better feeling thoughts. One better feeling thought is like, oh, like your mind's like, oh fuck, I fucking hate this, right? I swear a lot, so sorry if you don't like that. You could say, all right, yes, I do hate this, but at least I'm taking a step towards feeling better. If that feels a little bit of relief, that's a better feeling thought, okay? Another better feeling thought was like, oh, I fucking hate this. She's like, okay, taking a breath, noticing my anger. Hello, my anger, I'm here for you. Even roll your eyes, doesn't matter if it's a better feeling thought. So there's many better feeling thoughts. So that in combination is the two things. And there are a few resources that I have. I need an assistant because I don't have time to put all this stuff together. Anybody want to be my assistant? I have a few resources that I need to put together, that I'd like to put together like on a web page or something, that are for soothing. One is I think it's 11 minutes long meditation that's called From Agitation to Focus, that literally helps bring you from to foo. So I'll share that. One is 2 little meditations that are 2 minutes a piece of soothing. I was going to make 4 and ran out of, my computer died, so I stopped. So it's 2 of 4 2-minute meditation practices. And another is an exercise called 5 senses recycling. That one's like a miracle. I have done that when people are like sobbing and freaking out on the phone, and help them get to a state of regulation, calmness, presence, and coolness. It's like a miracle. It works really well, and I say that because no one will want to try it because it seems so stupid. It's not stupid, it's like magic, so I'm going to post that too, okay? So if anybody wants to help me out here, because this is valuable to you, write down those things I just said and post them below, and when I get home I will find a way to share them all, or I'll just share them all on the links below. Maybe eventually I'll get a page up. Okay? All right. My friends, you can, put my glasses on so I can see you. You can, step by step, find your way to feeling wonderful. You can. I swear you can do it. And in the feeling wonderful, you will also find ways to create situations in your life that are awesome, okay? No matter how bad it is right now, that is available to you. And the step-by-step soothing, better feeling thought process will really serve you. I promise. I promise. And the reason I'm saying it like this is because we tend to second guess ourselves a lot. You're like, well, yeah, feeling better, but I still got this shit in my life. Rah, rah, rah. You're not on the path anymore. So the soothing, right? Better feeling thought. This, turning this into a process that is beneficial instead of like agitating. That will help, I promise. I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise. You know, this is the thing where Abraham says, oh, if you get stuck in Yuma, you're going from Phoenix to San Diego. I've never looked at a map, so I have no idea what this means, but clearly you're going west, right? So from Phoenix to San Diego. I don't know how this shows up on the camera. And somewhere in the middle is Yuma, and you get to Yuma and go, oh God, I'm only in Yuma. So you don't do that if you know that Yuma's on the way to San Diego, but if you don't, then you get all paranoid and you're like, you keep going back, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma. That's what people do with emotion. What I want to tell you is this is the direction thing that you can know. I am going in the direction of everything I want if, one, I am soothing these feelings, and two, I am finding better feeling thoughts. If you are doing those two things, you are moving in the direction of what you want, I promise. All right, more later. Love you guys. You want to see my shirt? So cute. Look. I work to support my wife's dog. Oh, you can't see it. Addiction. All right, and this is my CrossFit gym right here. Where is it? It's over there. Oh, you can't see it. All right, but now we're going to CrossFit. Whoa, look at that. Wait, try and make it look more impressive. There you go. Whoa. Hi.